Welcome to Paranormal Side Quest, where the paranormal and dark history possess your brain. My name is Vlad, and I welcome you to Disney World. Lawsuits, child molestation cases, fully grown women crying full on at the Disney Cinderella castle, probably having more of a reaction than when their daughter was freaking born. That's right, today we're talking about Disney World. More specifically, we will be talking about Disney World deaths, because while this might be the happiest place on earth, it is also one of the amusement parks that has racked up the most amount of deaths over the years. So that's something that my little screwed up 10-year-old brain started thinking about back when I was that age. And yeah, so without further ado, let's get into it. Like I mentioned, Disney World is supposed to be the happiest place on earth. It's where fully grown men and women go to hug and feel up practically a bunch of these middle-aged men dressed as Disney characters and take pictures and selfies with them. I'm sorry if that's you, I really am. That's not me though. I've been to Disney World. Like, granted, I literally just came back from Disney World. I'm rocking that Haunted Mansion ride merch, because that's one of the best rides in all of the park. I don't care what you say, you can't convince me otherwise. But yeah, I've always just found that weird. Like, all of these character dining experiences they have at Disney World, it's weird because you go and I'm like over here trying to eat my chicken Alfredo, right? And then like some woman dressed as Ariel comes over and she's like all up on me, like asking for like a picture. Oh, do you want your picture taken? No, I don't. Let me eat my chicken Alfredo, please. It's just kind of weird. Like, I don't like when I get jump scared by like Mickey Mouse just coming up out of nowhere while I'm enjoying my food. That doesn't feel right to me. It all feels a little bit creepy. A little bit creepy if you're in your 30s, 40s, and you're going over there and enjoying that. I feel like you should be checked for schizophrenia. I really do. Well, get ready. This is gonna be a bit of a wild ride because, you get it? Wild ride because it's an amusement park and Disney, and I'm gonna try to stop making jokes like that for future reference. But without further ado, let's dive into this mess of an amusement park. This is gonna be very interesting, so hold on tight. Hold on real tight. On October 1st, 1971, the infamous amusement park of Disney World opened to the public for the first time. As the crowds rushed to get into the park, nobody knew about the massive success Disney would become over the years, and the impact on animation and robotics it would have around the world. So I just this has nothing to do with deaths. I'm going off on my own little side rant here. Have y'all seen the animatronics at Disney World? Those are not animatronics, those are people that have been enslaved by the Disney company for some corporate greed type of crap, and they're actually in there just like moving around pretending to be robots. No, I don't believe those are robots. Those ain't robots. Like, if you've been on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, look at Jack Sparrow's animatronic. I had to do like a quadruple take, because every time he'd pop up on the ride, I'd be like, I swear that's a real human. Here, I actually took a video of it on my phone when I came back from Disney last week. I'll actually put up a video right now, and tell me this ain't creepy to you.
The devils are actually really many thing to be honest.
See, they look like people. They look like people, I swear they do. It's creepy how realistic these robots are. But anyway, quickly with the opening of the theme park, tragedy would soon strike. Employee ignorance, guest ignorance, and many other ignorant type incidents happened throughout the park. And now a lot of people seem to be interested in the lawsuits at Disney World, but we're not gonna have time to go over any lawsuits today, because due to the fact that there's about 150 on average lawsuits per year at Disney, that would probably take up the next 5 years of my life going over every single one since 1971. So yeah, we ain't gonna do that. It's crazy. Like, if you guys wanna actually go full on read through all the lawsuits, I will put the link in my bio to the website with the official records of lawsuits from Disney starting all the way back to 1971. If you want to read through those, may God bless your soul, because you're going to waste the next 5 years of your life as well going over them. Have fun with that. But yeah, we all know the history. Disney opened in 1971. Walt Disney was a racist son of a bitch. The amusement park was really advanced for its time. People would crowd over that. I think the very first Disney ticket ever sold is on display, and I think if you're insane enough, you could buy the very first ticket ever sold at Disney for, I think, like $1.2 million. You have that in your bank account? Didn't think so. I'm sorry, I've just been ranting this whole time. Like, I've already been recording for about 7 minutes and we've gotten absolutely nowhere. So let's actually get into some deaths now, for real. These are gonna be pretty brutal in some ways, so viewer discretion is advised, because if I don't say that, YouTube's gonna kick my ass right out the door. So yeah, be warned, some of this stuff might be a little bit sensitive for your tiny little feelings. So I'd like to start off with the very first death that occurred at Disney. Technically, this wasn't when the park was opened. This took place in 1966. A few years before Disney opened. It was still under construction, because if you don't know, Disney's huge. It's enormous. I'm pretty sure it's like the size of, I think it was San Diego? I think San Diego. I'm pretty sure I've heard that fact somewhere. I don't know if it's true, but whatever. The first of many, many deaths at Disney, this was at the California location, mind you, was in 1966 when a 19-year-old decided to climb onto the monorail tracks, because that is a great decision that we should all partake in. And basically, didn't see this one coming, but this kid was struck by the monorail. I did not mean to laugh, that just came out. I'm not laughing at the kid dying, I'm laughing because of how stupid he was. So yeah, he was struck by the monorail, and according to one of the security guards that had to deal with that whole situation, he had this lovely message to say for all of you watching this video. I watched the kid get struck by the train and dragged nearly 50 feet down the track. I had to hose the kid off on the underside of the track. Ain't that lovely? That's like messed up though. Like, of all the, like, sure, I understand if you want to break into a park, like that's teenage behavior, but why of all places did it have to be the monorail? It's so high up, first off. Second off, like, why? Why? It was an active monorail. Why are you going on it? Did you just not expect to see a train? Like, oh, I wonder why this monorail's here. Where'd that train come from? Didn't see that one coming. Like, you have to be a little bit mentally not there to do crap like that. Like, don't you? Am I the only one who thinks that? I don't know. Some people really make me think. They really make me think. Now, anyway, the next death I want to talk about happened on the America Sings ride. I've never been on that ride. I don't know if it's still in operation, but this took place in 1974. A classic among deaths at Disney. This incident befell poor Deborah Gale Stone, a fresh-faced, bubbly 18-year-old employee who had just graduated from the Santa Ana High School and was, as the immortal Joe Bob Briggs would say, mashed into tiny bits after slipping between the revolving wall and a stationary platform inside the eternally creepy America Sings attraction. I have seen videos of this ride, and the ride kind of rotates, so you're in a different room. The whole wall kind of rotates. So basically, I guess what happened was she was standing too close in between the revolving wall as it started revolving, and it basically crushed her into tiny bits. Now, that's horrible. That's really bad. Like, that's terrifying. And on YouTube, I don't know if this is a real video or not. I've been told it is, I've been told it isn't, but there's a man filming inside of this ride, and you hear the blood-curdling scream of a woman in the background. Like, apparently, allegedly, that is the moment she died. Why that would be up on YouTube, if it was legit, I don't know. YouTube, you're kind of screwed up for that one if it is. But I'll also put that link in my bio for all of you psychopaths out there that want to hear the very last moments of a woman's life. See, that one always kind of stuck with me. I don't know why. I have a big fear of being crushed by things. Like, I have a big fear of being crushed by like a bulldozer. If I get into an accident, I'm scared of being crushed and trapped in my car. I'm scared of being crushed underneath some obese person that didn't see me sitting in one of the booths at Subway. You know, the average things. That's pretty brutal. I don't want to read the rest of these details because they do have details about this death, but I can't read that. I feel like it would be morally wrong for me. Investigators say it was unclear whether this was the result of inadequate training or an operator error, as the ride was brand new, having only opened about a week earlier. Wow, that must really suck. You have to go through like a whole line of literally Disney college to be able to work at Disney. Imagine going through that process for like 3 years just to get crushed on a ride opening week. That's wild. Next. Now this death happened on the Matterhorn. I have no clue what that is. I've never heard of the Matterhorn. It's probably something in California. But this happened in 1984. It was one of the grisliest deaths at Disney when 48-year-old Dolly Young from California was killed after she was thrown from a bobsled car and then was struck by the next oncoming bobsled. Oh my God, that's horrible. Crushing her and separating her head from its shoulders between the cars and wheels and the steel track. Disney. I mean, shoot, like some people have died at Disney from like allergies and stuff like that, but damn, decapitation. That's a little bit dark if I do say so myself. A later investigation had found that her seatbelt was not buckled, and it remained unclear if she deliberately unfastened her seatbelt. The seatbelt had malfunctioned or another passenger had unfastened it. Ooh, the mystery of whodunit, you know, a whodunit mystery. We'll never know because this was in 1984. That's like some brutal stuff, man. Like imagine being on a ride with somebody and they get decapitated and then you're in the row of seats behind them and you just get washed with blood just right in your face. Like, ooh, that's horrible. That is terrible stuff. And according to this that I'm reading, they tried to sue for it. They tried to sue Disney for this error, but Disney won the case. There was no action done whatsoever. And that's another thing about incidents at Disney. Like, if you want to sue Disney, just like don't. You're never gonna win. It's Disney. They're freaking monsters. The devil, the actual devil is running Disney right now, I can assure you. Oh my gosh, these get more and more ridiculous as we go on because the next death that we're gonna talk about is gang violence. Somebody was murdered by the mob at Disney World. Ooh, that voice crack was nasty. The second homicide in the park's history on March 7th, 1987, a 15-year-old boy was shot in Disneyland after keeping it real went wrong as revelers left the park after closing. I could have read that wrong and it could have processed differently in my head, but why was a 15-year-old boy in the park after closing? Not saying that that justifies what the mob did to him, but still, Jesus. The incident began as an early morning shouting match between apparent rival gang members before escalating into a brawl that developed into a shooting match in the parking lot around 1 a.m. See, that doesn't add up. That doesn't add up. Why is there a 15-year-old boy in the Disneyland parking lot at 1 a.m.? Explain that to me. Explain to me. About 2 hours after the brawl, Long Beach Police and California Highway Patrol officers arrested no less than 13 youths as they drove north of the San Diego Freeway in Long Beach in a van and a Cadillac. I still really want to know why there was a 15-year-old boy in the parking lot at Disney at that hour. That's a bit of a mystery in itself. I don't know why that's what did it for me and why I'm mostly interested in that over the actual, you know, shooting. The brain works in some weird ways. Next, we have the Disneyland knife attack of 1981. As Mickey Mouse would say, oh boy. On March 7, 1981, 18-year-old Mel Yorba was fatally stabbed with a knife during a fist fight with a 28-year-old man after the victim supposedly attempted to pinch the man's girlfriend in Tomorrowland. Ooh, okay, yeah. His family sued the park for $60 million, and while the family did not receive the full amount, they got around $600K in the end. Okay, you know what? That's a pretty good settle. Like, I would easily settle for that much money. Knowing me, I'm cheap. I'd settle for $50,000, which probably isn't signifying that I'm the smartest when it comes to lawsuits or getting money, but whatever. I'll take what I can get. The jury found the park negligent for not summoning outside medical help during the assault. Disney, forever obsessed with their image, even in the face of an actual murder, sent the victim to a hospital, not in an ambulance, but in a Disney World van with a Disney park nurse. Wow, that's like, that's probably the equivalent of like a school nurse, the way I'm picturing it in my head. That's awful. Disney doesn't give a shit. if you're going to Disney and you're scared that you're gonna get hurt or murdered by somebody, that shouldn't have to escape my mouth, yet it did. Don't go to the nurse. You're basically done. Don't try to sue. Disney won't do anything for you. I tried to make it rhyme and it didn't work very well. Now, I think we all know this next story. It's about the 2016 alligator attack on that little boy who got basically dragged into the water by an alligator by one of the Disney resorts. Very sad stuff, but okay, listen, this is a very controversial, I can't pronounce that word sometimes. It's a very controversial subject, and honestly, reading through this case, it really makes me feel like it's kind of on the parents. It's very tragic what happened. That little boy did not deserve to lose his life like that, but at the same time, this kind of feels like it's on the parents. Listen to this. One of the most gruesome Disney deaths occurred on June 14th, 2016, when a 2-year-old boy from Nebraska was bitten and dragged into the water by an alligator at 9:15 p.m. on the shore of the Seven Seas Lagoon. Okay, so there's two things I want to point out here right off the bat. First off, how can you trust any source of water in Florida? How do you just not know the information that there's alligators in pretty much every single source of water in Florida? Also, I have been to the Disney World resorts. There is signs littering the resorts about how there's venomous snakes and alligators every single where in every single body of water right next to the resorts. These were up at the time. Disney confirmed that they had signs everywhere, and the parents thought that it would be okay because he was just playing at the shore. But why are you also letting your kid play around the shore in alligator infested waters at 9:15 p.m.? He should be in bed at like 6. He's 2. So it's like, come on now, like that's not even parenting. There's no way. There's actually no way. His parents tried to save him and the boy was pulled into the water in front of their eyes. His body then resurfaced the following afternoon in the vicinity of where he went missing. Very tragic stuff, but at the same time, like I just mentioned, I feel like that was on the parents. They didn't follow the rules. They didn't follow what the sign was saying because they didn't think things through, I guess. I don't know. It beats me what's going through people's heads in incidents like that. Like parents, you gotta lock in sometimes. You really do. Now, this is one of the more bizarre deaths of Disney, and it's the 6th, I think it's the 6th death at Disney at the Orlando resort so far. And basically, a 2-year-old local girl from Florida died on April 6th, 1982 at Walt Disney World after being crushed, of all things, by a falling menu board. She really pulled a Flat Stanley there. Y'all know that book? Is that just me? That's like kind of nostalgic. You know Flat Stanley? He was sleeping in his bed and then a big whiteboard that he had over his bed for some freaking reason fell on top of him and he became like, I don't know why I'm explaining the lore of Flat Stanley to you right now. Let's move on. Reports say she was standing in a line with her family outside the kitchen at the Coral Isle coffee shop when she and her 12-year-old sister were playing with a rope tied to a large menu board. The unattended girls pulled on the rope, freeing the sign from its fasteners, and the board fell on top of the toddler, crushing her. See, that's why parents, you gotta lock in. It's your 12-year-old daughter and your what was it again? And your 2-year-old daughter. You just leave them alone, like swinging on the signs like they're at freaking Bounce You or some children's park like that. No, see, you gotta lock in sometimes, you know? You gotta lock in. You gotta keep your eyes on your children and all this stuff. And I'm sure it doesn't say here, but I'm sure these parents tried to get a lawsuit out of it, even though like it was kind of their fault for not attending their children, you know? Good Lord. That's really tragic stuff, but this next one I can relate to on a personal level. I don't know why I said it like that. I feel like some Visco girl. I should have like a pumpkin scarf wrapped around my neck holding my tea as I do this. I don't know where that was going. This one's about bees. We all love them. We've all seen them. We've all been stung by them. An off-duty cast member fell to his death from a ledge outside the Top of the World restaurant on November 12th, 1992. And apparently falls and suicides are surprisingly common at Disney. I mean, I'd understand that. Like, it's the happiest place on earth. If you came back as a ghost, why not just linger around there, chill with some good old Disney folks, you know? I'd be down to clown with that. That's pretty cool. Not the part of you killing yourself, just being a ghost at Disney. That's the part that sounds cool, don't get me wrong. The strange accident began as Brian Herbeck, 24, a host at the Disney Hotel Top of the World, was showing his roommate the view from an observation deck on the 15th floor of the hotel. As he sat on the 4-foot-high security barrier in the broad daylight, a swarm of giant wasps began attacking him without warning. As he tried to desperately swat them away, he fell over the edge and the wasp had claimed their victory. The victim slammed into a 4th-floor landing deck on the monorail, killing him instantly with much splattering. Wow, that last part was not needed, the much splattering. I'm pretty sure we get the picture, don't you? Yeah, no, I will say Disney has a really bad problem with bees. So here's the thing, especially in Magic Kingdom. I noticed this last time I went because I got chased by bees myself. So first off, there's a billion bees in Magic Kingdom because what they do, they have a bunch of different like bakeries and like coffee shops and restaurants lined up around the side, but there's like the charm of Magic Kingdom is the smell of it all because they have vents filtering out the super sweet smell from the bakeries and stuff, giving the aroma of like baked goods and stuff. And that attracts every single bee in the world to Magic Kingdom. I was waiting in line for the Haunted Mansion ride, and you can't move. Once you're in a line for any ride, you can't move, you can't go anywhere. They cram you in there like sardines, like you're touching the person in front of you, you're touching the person behind you, you can't go anywhere. And we were about to enter the ride, but then bees started coming around us. They started flying around my face and shit. I was like, nah. I started to freak out a little bit. I was like, I wanna leave. And it was terrifying. That place absolutely has a bee problem. Absolutely has a bee problem. If you're about to get swarmed, there's nothing you can do. You and everybody else in that line's about to get like demolished by every single bee in the United States of America, because that's what Disney attracts, every single bee in the United States of America. Terrible stuff, that is. It really is. That's so sad. That's the worst way to go. Bees like pushing you off of a balcony. And last but not least, we have another crushing that happened at a Disney parade. So imagine being in a mascot costume in like 1,000,000-degree Florida weather. Then imagine dying in that mascot costume, because that's exactly where this story's going. Lock in, y'all. Get ready. Javier Cruz, 38 years old and a father of 2, and an 8-year Disney veteran, was playing Pluto in the daily afternoon parade like he had countless times before. Preparing backstage, he was shockingly killed after being run over by the Beauty and the Beast float in the Share a Dream Come True parade. We're guessing that that was not his dream come true. There's a lot of dreams in his world, I'm sure that was not one of them. On the day of his death, he was dressed in his character near the end of the parade line when he was ready to pass through a gate into public view near Splash Mountain, when the float struck him. In a scene that's tragic, but honestly pretty hilarious to imagine. Like, I don't want that to make me sound like a bad person, but it kind of is. Cruz tripped, and before he had time to escape the oncoming float, he was crushed to death by the giant golden princess float that loomed over him. Wow. Wow, death by Sleeping Beauty. Gonna check that one off my list for let's hope it doesn't happen to me. That is tragic though. While that is a little bit comical, I will say it's tragic. All of these were tragic. I'm sorry for the families who had to withstand the pain of losing a loved one in their lives. It's very sad stuff. I have less and less trust on Disney. Like when I went on Tiana's Bayou Adventure, or however you pronounce that, like my little like the lap bar that keeps you in the ride, it was kind of jiggly a little bit. And it wasn't until half of the ride where I finally pushed it down a bunch and it finally made a click and it kind of locked, and I was like, the cast member is supposed to do this for me. Why am I making sure I'm not gonna die on this ride myself? That's your job. But yeah, it's like Disney, there's much room for improvement in Disney. Like I've seen a lot of questionable stuff. There's a lot of Karens. Fights do break out at Disney a lot because people are like, oh, let's go throw down. You wanna fight, bro? I know exactly where to go. Disney World. I don't know why people like to fight at Disney World. I really don't. It's beyond me, and it will always be beyond me. But apart from that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a little something new today, a little something that you didn't know about before. Always nice to have some of that new knowledge in that big old brain of yours. But apart from that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. I don't know what else there is to do besides that, but without further ado, I will see you guys later.